Been running a little bit late today. I got on a call with a couple folks within the industry today, manufacturers, suppliers, and had some interesting conversations. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And that just got me a little off track. Plus, it's my anniversary. So we've got my wife and I are going to a football game, watch freshman and JV football for our local school and watch my daughter dance in the cold. It's chilly out here today. So welcome. Sorry I'm running late, but we are here. I am walking. I'm still in the lead. I got one extra block on my daughter who did not exercise yesterday. And I don't know. So I think I might have her 2 more days left If you've never been on a live before, here's how it goes. I'm getting my exercise. You ask the question. So ask any boating related question that you like. You're buying a boat, you're negotiating a boat, you're thinking about buying, you have a boat and you've got some sort of question. You're just interested in the topic in the world of boating. I will give my best answer, my best resource. Or maybe it's somebody else in the industry that I know that would have a good answer resource for you. Maybe another what do you want to call them? YouTuber, internet expert, whatever, that actually knows what they're talking about. And but let me know, Kings of the City. Sorry for the delay, but let me know where you're watching from, where you do your boating, what kind of boat you have would be awesome. And then if you got a question, just put it in the chat and I will be happy to answer it for you. So little bit of what's on my mind. Let's get this up here, share the screen. What are we sharing today? We'll share that. So what's going on in the industry? The last couple of days this week, I've been looking at dealer financials, manufacturer financials. Like I said today, I was talking to a few folks in the industry and kind of just getting the pulse of what's happening in the industry, what's going on in the world of boating, manufacturers, dealers. We all know that we'll just call it the world is kind of topsy-turvy right now, where the tariffs are still in play, and they've been in play long enough that they are Rick Jr. Welcome back. Good to have you. Rick was on yesterday looking for something a little bit different, and is looking at a different style of center console, a little bit bigger, maybe a twin engine. And so that's starting. All of that stuff it's been in play long enough that it's starting to. Hey, Brock, how you doing? Welcome. Brock's a long-time liver, just like Kings in the City. I left you guys hanging. What was that, last week, where I ended up not doing one. Things just got hectic, and I missed. It's a little bit harder doing it every single day than doing it once a week like I did previously, but we'll do it every day for as long as it's working. And I need to get my exercise in anyway. So until I get down to, I'm 6'2", and right now I hit 240. And that's the heaviest I've ever been. I was like, okay, that's too much. I usually hover around 220. I probably should be around like 195, 200 with a little bit of muscle, maybe. I'd be 200. So until I get down to 200, this is something I'll do. Wait till you see me and I'm doing curls and doing presses and stuff with weights. We'll really get it going then. But anyway, the industry, the economy is kind of crazy right now, right? We're going in. You still see a lot of spending, but there's just sort of that. I don't know if you guys feel it, but you just feel sort of a weight of the economy. Like, my wife went to the grocery store the other day, and she's like, "Holy crap! Our grocery bill was $400. A family of 4. I've got 2 teenage girls, or almost teenage and not quite just a teenage, and getting a little fluffy myself. It was at Gabriel Iglesias, a little fluffy. Yes, it's hitting me. And my wife didn't say, "Hey, chubby, you need to get some exercise." But when I started walking, she's like, "I'm really glad that you've decided to do that, to get a little exercise in." So a nice way for a wife to say you're getting fluffy. So anyway, I don't know if you guys feel it, but the inflation, the tariffs, the political climate of, I know it's been like this for a long, long time, but it feels like it keeps, the Charlie Kirk murder, the President Trump is not helping anything with the way he goes about it, the media of, the paid media. And then you got the social media where any schmo can get on. It's like me. I can say whatever I want. Fortunately, I hope that I build up a reputation of a guy that knows a little bit about what he's talking about, is honest, and gives a valuable opinion on things, tries not to talk about things he doesn't have. But there are people out there that, I don't know why, but I've been starting to get flat earth videos in my news feed. On YouTube. I'm like, what have I done to deserve this? And so it's just a really weird time, it feels like, where things are getting more conflicting, or more conflict, more adversarial. The things are getting more expensive in life. And so that's impacting the boating world. We know we've got an excess amount of inventory. But there's opportunity because there's people that have money. Like, no matter, even in the Great Depression, even when things were at its worst, there was still like 80% employment rate. There were still people that had money. There were a lot of people that didn't. There were a lot of people that were doing really bad, but there's still a group that has money. And fortunately, if you're on this call, you're in our group where, yes, our grocery bill went up to $400 for the week. That's noticeable, but it doesn't change a lot for it. We didn't change our buying habits. We're still going out to eat. We're still going out on the boat. We can still afford that stuff. We're in a position where there's a portion of the economy where that $400 grocery bill means, well, maybe we got to sell a car. Maybe we got to take a second job. The people that I'm talking to, the category that we're in, like, hey, it's noticeable, but we're still doing great. Maybe we just got a promotion. Maybe our business has taken off. And there's a big group of those people that are doing real well, but they're just sitting there saying, is this the right time to buy? Because there's so much inventory, they've got the upper hand. Like we were talking to Rick the other day, is, hey, it may not be the Tidewater, the Blazer, and there was another brand, I don't remember what that was, but there is opportunity for people that are in the position that have the desire to go out and buy a boat and get a great deal, because people need to. That's interesting. Went down in August. So you took your grocery bill and you transferred it over to tuition. That's also another way it works, is it just transfers to other areas. But that's funny. It's one of those things where the opportunity is in our court right now as the buyers that have the financial resources and have the desire for a boat. We can get, I'll say, great deals that maybe the price is higher. They definitely are higher than they were in 2019, early 2020 before the pandemic hit. Things have gotten more expensive, but relatively speaking, a good deal, great discounts, getting it for, maybe 10% over dealer cost, which is a smoking deal in the marine space. If you're buying at dealer cost, that's really very, very, very uncommon. Although there are opportunities like that out there right now. On the flip side, what's happening in the marine space, on the dealer side, the manufacturer side, and on the component side, is they're really managing cash flow tight, right? So they're saying, hey, there you go, sustainability. Good to see you. He is a long time live viewer, and sustainability is his YouTube name. And good to have you. Let's see, family of 5, 3 teens, and their friends, 400 every week on groceries. Yeah, we all of the neighborhood kids that used to come over and raid our pantry, they've all moved away. So now our kids are going to their activities. So they're not driving yet. So we haven't become the hub where they come and hang out and snack and do all that. So, but there's, in the industry itself, running a marine business right now, cash flow is where it's at, because we made all of our money during the pandemic. Some did better than others. Some people really didn't make hay during the pandemic because of the supply chain issues. They couldn't get what they needed to produce their thing, and that they didn't get to participate in the big upswing like some folks did. Okay, most of them did, but not everybody. But now it's like, can this manufacturer pay the vendor to get the product they need? Are there, and this is, if you, boating industry, I think I tried to show this the other day, but boating industry, David Gee, the former editor of Boating Industry Magazine, is the host of the Boating Industry podcast. And he had on Raj, I can't think of his last name, but the president of North Point Financial, one of the largest floor plan lenders in the country. And he was talking about how they're ratcheting down certain dealers' credit lines. They're saying, okay, you may have $2 million on your credit line right now, but when you sell your next 3 boats, instead of freeing that up, we're going to cut you down to 1.5 million or to $1 million. And they're tightening up some lenders, right? They're raising fees. Their interest rates have been up. They're not raising those. Hopefully they're going to come down as interest rates slowly tick down, and they're not coming down nearly as quick as some people predicted, myself included. I thought we were going to see a little bit more of a drop on the retail boat loan side, and we haven't seen it. So that's sort of what's going on in the industry, and it's just got everybody a little more tense, right? There's still the boat loan match. There's still, 7%, maybe 6.5% if you're perfect on the financing side, up to 7.25%, we'll say, depending on the boat, the equity, your credit, all that stuff. So there's credit available, and it's better than the 8% it was a year ago, 2 years ago. But it's not where people are like, and I've got some friends that are realtors. If you're follow the real estate world, kind of that same thing's happening. Is people are like, man, interest rates were just 3% not too long ago, and now they're at 6.5, 7%. I don't feel good about buying a house at that. I'm going to wait for them to get to 3%. Probably not going to happen, but yeah, it's crazy. If you think back, 2020 contract for the Sportsman, 103, fully loaded. Now, if you lose, the base price is 119. Yeah, I mean, it's gone up. And I wish I would have done, like Brock's got the personal example, I wish I would have done a better job of capturing pricing during that time and see how it's gone up. The data that I had, I didn't have a good way of saving it, and I didn't do a good job. Loaded like I ordered it, 148 out the door. I mean, that's a 50% increase on with a 24-foot center console. It's not like he's got quad 600s on the back. I mean, it's a nice family boat, right? It's not something extravagant. It's something that, yeah, that's a good style, good size, good style of boat for a family to get out on. And now it's 50% more than it was just 6 years ago. The base price, $300. Yeah, I mean, that's wild how much things have gone up. And that with the interest rates, and you hear the stories of people that like, hey, we bought and we got a 4% interest rate or a 5% interest rate on our boat. And it's just got them sort of hesitant. And that transferred over to the manufacturers to the dealers, and to the vendors that support the marine industry. You know, think of all the stainless steel guys, the resin and the chemical guys. You got the foam and the upholstery folks. You've got all of the people, the engine manufacturers. You got all of them that are having some of those same thoughts of, all right, cash flow is getting tight. Where are we going to see the inventory? We know manufacturers are cutting their production for 26, which is ultimately the right thing to do. It's going to be good for the industry as a whole, and sort of find out where prices need to be to sell boats, manufacture them profitably, and all that. But it's just this weird place in the industry right now, and we're all feeling it in different ways. But again, I go back to, with all that being said, there's only 1 million boats sold every year, rounding. You know, maybe it's 1.3 million, maybe it's 900,000. About 25% of them are new, so 250 to 200,000 are new. You know, we'll call it 800,000 to 700,000 are used. That used number stays pretty consistent, which is interesting, because that's if you don't have the money to buy new, but you still want a boat, then you might tap into the used market. Right now, the used market is still in that weird place where the person that bought the boat, like Rock said, you know, bought the boat for 119, bought a 24-foot center console Sportsman with 300 for 119, and he's heard his buddies that bought a boat for 119 and they sold it for 140. And so he's like, well, certainly my boat is as good as that. So I should be able to sell mine for what I paid. I should be able to sell it for 115. And well, that's just not the market. So the used is still like, there's this psychological thing going on with a lot of sellers that they're listing way too high and they're not being realistic. So those aren't selling. New boats have gone way up because of, you know, and I think realistic price increases where cost of goods have gone up, cost of labor has gone up, tariffs have gone up. So engines, everything imported is being impacted. And now for real, it's not just a marketing message, because takes time for the supply chain to catch up for everything to hit boats that are being delivered now. And so it's in that weird place where the used boats aren't dropping down where they should be. Some of them are. The people that are real serious about selling are dropping them to levels where it makes sense and people are buying. But there's still that group of people that have the money and that want what they want and that are willing to spend it. It's just a matter of, is that 200,000? Is that 500,000 people? Or is it 150,000 people? And I think that's what we're going to see in this coming year. And I'm working on my state of the industry video right now. So I've got all these thoughts swirling through my head. I appreciate you listening to me as I sort of talk them out so I can get it into a rational presentation. And like today, where I'm sort of just all over the place. But these are the things that I'm seeing and talking to people in the industry. It is a unique time in the industry, right? It's a very unique time in the industry. And I bought it then 2 years old, loaded, 278, 92 hours, 2 hours were freshwater use. Yeah, I did a video, and if you've been on Facebook, I've been doing a bunch of short videos. And one of the things I talked about was if you're looking for a used center console, if you can go inland and find a freshwater center console, that thing's had such an easier life. And you maybe pay a little bit more up front, but you're going to have a better experience, assuming it was well taken care of. And like I said, all but 2 hours were freshwater. That's significant. That's a major plus when it comes to a boat like that. But so the market is prime for people to get good deals. If you're buying used, well, you've got to be okay with making offer after offer after offer at the value that you think is right for you on the boat that's right for you. You don't have to make the offer contingent on where they're starting. Make the offer based on what the value of that boat should be. And if they're realistic, they'll have a back and forth conversation and you can come to terms that make sense for both sides. If they're out of line, they're asking 150 for a boat that should sell for 130, and they're not willing to come down. That's fine. There's always another boat out there, especially right now. And there's fewer and fewer buyers because all that we were talking about, inflation, prices, everything going up, the mentality, I'll just wait and see. And then the other thing I think that we're going to see happen in the next 12 months, maybe 24 months, is we're going to see a handful of dealers and a handful of dealers go out of business. That for sure is going to happen. There's going to be dealers that hang up their shingle because the owner has aged out and they're just getting by, and they're like, you know what? I'm just done. I'm going to wash my hands with it and walk away. Some are going to go out of business because their boats get repoed. They can't make their interest or curtailment payments, and that's going to happen as well. But I think you're also going to see some consolidation on the manufacturer side. I think you're going to see some manufacturers that are struggling, and they say, you know what, we're not going to go out of business necessarily, but we're going to sell off to a major conglomerate. So we're going to sell off to Brunswick, or we're going to sell off to Malibu, or we're going to sell, maybe Winnebago gets more in the boat game. Polaris gets more in the boat game. Maybe Yamaha decides to acquire some boat brands. They really haven't gone down that path much, but there's going to be some players, because there's also right now a ton of money just sitting on the sidelines in private equity groups that are just waiting for good investments. We know it's a fact that boating is cyclical. It's going to go down, but we always know it's going to come back up. And what happens when they go down? Well, all the outside investors come in and they acquire those assets of people that are stumbling during that low time. They didn't manage their cash properly. So I think there's going to be somebody, maybe it's a current player, maybe it's a new player, to come in, buy up some of those struggling brands and be there on the upswing when it's ready to go. So I don't say any of this to scare anybody that's looking to buy a boat. I say, ball's in your court, man. You've got leverage. You've got time on your side, especially being, early, almost November, December, January, February, March. You got 5 months before real boating season kicks in. You got 2 months before the first boat show starts triggering, although Fort Lauderdale Boat Show is going on right now, which Kings of the Sea, let's see. What would be a good boat? I could use freshwater, trailer to use intercoastal, maybe offshore. I'm a huge fan of to me, it's a unsung style. And you can see I'm working on, I'm updating my best and worst videos as well. All the pictures I took from the boat show of what I liked and didn't like. But I think Kings in the City, a good dual console boat. So dual console to me, it's a bow rider, but it's made for coastal boating. It has an outboard, but you still have the comfort. So the Sea Ray, it's a dual console, but I consider that a bow rider. The Yamaha is a bow rider, but I consider that a jet boat because the propulsion overrides it. When I talk a dual console, I'm talking a boat that's built for a coastal environment, but it's laid out like a bow rider. So if you look, you've got comfort, but you've got a deeper gunnel and you've got some flare. So Carolina flare is what you traditionally call it. It doesn't have to be a twin. Now, this is a trip, but this is the style. So you've got some flare. So if you need to go out an inlet, you're fine. If you take on a big wave, you're okay. If a storm pops up, you've got some protection from really, really bad weather. You've got probably some rod holders on a smaller version, a bigger one like this, where you've got the hard top, you've got rocket launchers, you got outboard motors, but you've also got comfort. So, I mean, even, this is a 28, 37, but you have comfort. Maybe in a 24 and up, you've got a head. So I think this is a nice family boat that we're going to go to the coast a couple times a year. I think that dual console style is awesome. Probably a 37 is a little overkill, but here, like this Traveler. This is actually a boat that I've been helping a guy find and buy. And he has that exact same situation. Family want to be at the coast. They're up in New Jersey. Wife doesn't care much about fishing. Him and his kids don't care much about fishing. Their kids are younger, but he's on the coast. And this is, you got the comfort, but you can take all the cushions off. And now you got a casting platform. You've got, comfort back there. You got cushions that can go here, but you still have live wells if you want to do some fishing. He likes this. I think this one was a Bimini. They make it with a hard top. He liked the hard top. But to me, that gives you a great utility on crossover. If fishing is more, you're seeing more center consoles, but let's see here. Let's see. All right, there we go. Freshwater. Let's see what Brock had. It's hard to beat 24. Yeah, the center consoles are also, they're with the layouts, they're more functional for families as well. The dual console, if you're not big, if you're going to fish just a little, I like those. But the center consoles are also an option. You lose seating. That's what I don't like about the center consoles when you talk putting families on them, is you lose some seating options, but you get better. My rule for offshore, yeah, if you're going offshore, now that's a different ball game. It's definitely a different ball game if you're going offshore, and the conditions are really. If you're definitely using it for fishing, then if you search family friendly center console boats, so the ones that advertise family friendly are going to have layouts that are going to be a good fit for you. So the Scout, the Sportsman, if we just look here, I don't know, Sport Fishing Magazine. What is that? This has a bunch of pop-ups. This ain't going to be good. This is what I'm looking at. Aquasport, lower mid-tier. Barker, I'm not familiar with that one. The Dauntless, more high-end, a little bit kind of mid-freeboard, that hybrid style, like Brock's talking about. The Cobia is a good mid-tier. And you can see like these front bow seats, they've got the add-ons so that when you do have the family out, you've got some comfort, but you can strip all that out and you can go with more casting platforms. They almost all have live wells to some level. Creval's pretty much all hybrids. Edgewater higher end, Everglades a little higher end, Grady a little higher end. But I've seen this boat, the North Coast, but I've not inspected it. Pathfinder, good mid-tier. Pursuit, high level, high end. But you can see that without the backrest, your really only other seat is right here. These seats are okay, but not super comfortable for a family. So it just kind of depends on the fishing versus the family comfort and finding that balance. Some of the Seafox models are nice. High benches across the back, yeah. And then, getting in the boat, if you have the opportunity, boat show season is going to be picking up in January. Kings in the City, I don't know where you are, but the Charleston Boat Show where Brock is end of January. Great opportunity to just sit on different boats, except for last year when they all had snow in them down there, which was crazy. But that's kind of my thoughts. But the dual console, I think, is a style of boat that's going to start to do better and better and better. Pennsylvania. Well, you just missed the Atlantic City Boat Show. Was not too long ago, depending on exactly where you're at there. Pretty sure that's not how you spell Pittsburgh, but come on. March. Yeah, Pittsburgh Boat Show's in March. Yeah. Maybe January. So in the past, it's been in January, so I don't know when it is. But either way, find a boat show. It's a great opportunity. And if you don't have a lot of that style of boat in your area, make it a weekend. Go to the coast. Go to a coastal boat show where they'll have everything, and just check it out to get your first initial feel before you start your shopping. So, all right, what else? I think that's my thoughts for today. I've got a football game to go here in the next 20 minutes, so I got to shower up and clean up, change up, not wear my pink boat. What do you think of the pink? The pink boat loan match shirt kind of looks red on the camera, but it's pink. And if you are buying a boat and you're looking to finance a portion, check it out. Help support what we're doing here at the channel. I've vetted them for customer service, for good quality rates, and I'll match you with the lender that's going to be best suited for your specific area, type of boat, credit profile. And by the way, that got some bonuses that I'll give you for going through the process. So, all right, that gets me 2 more boxes. That puts me 3 15-minute segments ahead of my daughter, and only 1 more day for her to catch up. So we'll go live tomorrow and get at least another 2 boxes and see if I can win the pot and get down to my 200 or 195 goal weight. So hopefully these shirts will start fitting better as the weeks and weeks go on. So I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me. Sorry for being late. But actually we had a good crowd on today. So appreciate you joining me. We'll talk to you tomorrow.